What's up, everybody? This is Lyle with No Hippie Trucking and Transportation. You know what? I just went home just for like overnight. Had a chance to wash my little jacket that I bought. And one thing I didn't notice before, I don't even know why this is on here. I love this jacket. It's Caterpillar. If you see it, get you one. But it has a little zipper, so I guess if you want to scratch your arm, bang, you can just unzip the arm. That might be there for some ventilation, but I don't know. I love it. But I've had people ask this in the past, maybe over like a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago when I was actually going through TNT training at Prime. And I just had the question again, and I wanted to kind of get to this while I had time. I'm going to try to keep this short, but how long does TNT training last? Well, that is a really good question, TNT training, I never really thought about how long it was going to take because I knew I was going to stay on for a long time just to make sure I had it nailed down. But the first thing I want to mention is I think a lot of people that are getting into trucking are more concerned with how fast they're going to get out of training than actually what they're getting out of training. So if you kind of flip that around, don't really worry about how long it's going to take. Just try to make sure that you get everything you need while you're in that training. All right? One thing a lot of people don't know is if you go on the Prime app and go under My Documents, there is a TNT training checklist. Take a look at that. Go over that with your trainer. Make sure that, you're kind of learning everything that's on that list. But let's just answer the question. How long does it take? Okay. You know what? That is a crapshoot. There's so many variables. If you really get out with a runner, and I mean somebody that's, my last trainer, at the time I wasn't used to being out like 45 days and stuff like that, but he used to run like about 45 days out, a week back home, and then that meant I was going to get 2 weeks. But like I said, I wasn't really counting it. But what I've seen a lot of, because I talked to a lot of people that are, at Prime, going through Prime at various stages, is there's a number of different trucks and how people run the trucks. So let's talk about it. If you are a team truck, now I'm not talking about you are teaming. A team truck, you should be doing no less than 5,000 on the low end to maybe 6,500 as a team truck in training. So, what's that going to equal to? You do the math. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So that's going to take you 10 weeks at 5,000 miles a week, which I would say that would be about average for a team truck. If you're with the trainer like mine that was above average as far as that went, then you're going to be closer to 665, sometimes even 7. But then again, how often is your trainer wanting to go home? But more importantly, how often are you wanting to go home? Let me see if I can get this up to block this shade. How often are you wanting to get home? If you're wanting to be home all this, if you want to go home a lot, then that's going to affect it. If your trainer's always trying to get home, I've heard that being the case where somebody's trainer's trying to go home every, 3 weeks or, something like that. It's going to take a while to get through it, especially if you guys don't live in the same place. Now, you could find yourself with a trainer, and obviously it's a team truck. You're teaming, but it's not a team truck. So there's a big distinction. Just because there's 2 people on a truck doesn't mean it's being ran as a team. A team is going to be coast to coast, all that kind of stuff. Or a team truck. If you're teaming, that could just mean that you're 2 people operating a truck, generally going to be less miles. But there's nothing wrong with that. One of the good things about some of those people that train that end up doing those shorter type loads, you get a lot more experience backing into docks. It's just more repetition because there's more loads per day and stuff like that. And what I mean is, just because there's 2 people on a truck doesn't mean it's a team truck. Well, how am I trying to phrase it? Yeah, it doesn't mean it's a team truck. I mean, you're teaming, but for part of the time when I was teaming with my last co-driver, I'd say for the first 2 months, I ran that like a team truck, coast to coast, all the miles, all that kind of stuff. The last month, we were kind of teaming. I wasn't running it really as a team truck. It meant that maybe we'd get a load, it was 550 miles, and then I would take that load, drop it off, wait for the next load, switch, boom, he'd switch, and then we drive that load, and that might be able to get done in one shift, but it wasn't the same as actually being a team truck. So that has a lot to do with it. Because in reality, you and your trainer, unless you have a really, really good trainer, are kind of looking for opposite things. Your trainer's wanting the most money, unless I say he's a good trainer. But he's looking for the most money with the fewest miles, while you're just worried about getting the maximum amount of miles. So, yeah, I would say that if you're not running as a team, going through training, if you're not at least doing 4,500, you might have to have a talk. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess at that point it's too late. But I'd say 10 weeks should be the amount of time. And then add on top of that any weeks that you take off. So if you take off 2 weeks during that time, 12 weeks, and so on and so forth. But again, instead of focusing on how fast you're going to get out of training, try to focus on the training. Go into the Prime app, download the TNT checklist, and make sure you're going over all that stuff, because, listen, the more prepared you are, I'm trying to block this some. Now my arm's getting tired. The more prepared you are, the less embarrassment it is in the future, because everybody's seen it. I've been there, everybody's been there. But when you see that person that has like no concept of backing when they've got out of training, whether that's with Prime, Swift, Sierra, whoever, just learn as much as you can before you get out there. Don't get embarrassed. Anyway, and if your trainer's not letting you back, that might be something to bring to your dispatcher or something. I don't know. But anyway, that's all. I went a little bit longer than I wanted on this video, but trying to think if there's anything else. You know what? That might be a question to ask your trainer as well. Because there's nothing wrong with the trainer running his truck, or being a team or teaming and not having a team truck. It just means it's going to take you a while to get it done. But maybe that's a question to ask your trainer. Like how many miles do you average a month while you're in training? And I wouldn't have that be something that keeps me from being with that person. It just allows you to understand how long it might take to get through. Anyway, I'm rambling. As always, I want to thank you guys for stopping by No Hippie Trucking and Transportation. I appreciate it. Comment, subscribe.